He got a pick six, 90 yards. Pike tricked up and then ends the world with the big one hit. Here's the pitch. Back up the middle, that's gonna be trouble. That one hit the post and then hit it in.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. I'm overjoyed.
What's not to love about San Antonio? The most sought-after college basketball player in the country loves the Alamo City.
Well, maybe that's a good sign to come. Who knows, Hector? But what a tremendous Final Four we had here in San Antonio.
Yeah, we're going to cover the Final Four and everything that came along with it right here on the Sports Update, a weekly show we'll bring you from here on out through the end of June, and then we'll pick up again in the fall. More details to come as we go along. But first, Bobby Mendez, Hector Ledesma, Final Four, Spurs, baseball starting. We've got a couple of high school soccer teams going to state and playing for a state championship. Spring sports, you name it, we got it covered. And let's start with those Spurs because this is their final week, I should say, Bobby, of the year. It goes by so fast, but they're in the midst of a 4-game road trip right now out west. But one of the bright spots for the Spurs, undoubtedly, Stephon Castle making a push to really cement himself as the Rookie of the Year. Really, there is no doubt anymore in terms of what Stephon has been able to do. Tremendous from the get-go. Rookie of the Month in March. Rookie of the Month for the Western Conference in January as well. You look at the numbers he's putting up. 14.5 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, 4 assists, and he's only playing 26.5 minutes per game. Not surprisingly, but maybe surprising for Steph in terms of what he actually admitted in talking about, hey, do you think you have Rookie of the Year locked up? Bobby, he said, yeah, I think I kind of do.
I mean, yeah, I feel like at this point, I pretty much got it locked up. Really just continuing to, be myself, not really think about it when I'm in the game. But, just game by game, I feel like I'm, more confident enough to be able to say that, I am it.
So, want to get your thoughts here. I know we're a little bit biased, but in your mind, any doubt that he's going to be a second straight Rookie of the Year for the Spurs?
No doubt. There's so much media attention about how mature he is, how well he plays, and he's on such a great team. Things are only going to be looking better for the Spurs going forward, Hector. And I tell you, how lucky are we, right, to have had such a great system put in place that when the great players do come, they're set up for success here in San Antonio. So just really looking forward to seeing a lot more of Stephon Castle as well as the rest of the team as they come together.
Yeah, and as mentioned, he'd be a second straight Rookie of the Year winner for the Spurs. Wemby, of course, winning that honor last year, becoming the third Spur to do it after Big Dave and Tim Duncan in the 1997-98 season. Of course, the way that Castle's playing right now, kind of a spectacle. Well, the biggest spectacle in college sports, one of the biggest in the country, making its way into town. Speaking of Wemby, he even took in the action at the Alamo Dome. Victor Wembanyama, first public appearance since the injury that ended his season with the blood clots in the right shoulder, appears to be okay. On the court, Houston beat Auburn to get to Monday's national title game. Florida beat Auburn. And when it was all said and done, the Gators winning the championship, as they said on the broadcast over on CBS. Walter Clayton Jr., the most outstanding player, leading the Gators to their third national title. Here's the interesting thing, though. At the end of this game, Houston could not get shots off on either of the last two possessions. And their head coach, Kelvin Sampson, kind of alluding to offense wasn't really their bread and butter coming in to Monday's title game.
We have to depend on unscripted points a lot of nights. Unscripted points for us is second chance points. I think we had 19 second chance points. What's the difference in that running the most beautiful play in the world and somebody comes off a screen and you go, bravo, great play? There's 2 points. That's us. We're probably more of a offensive rebound, put it in for 2 than run the greatest play ever and have everybody go crazy because you executed something.
That stuck out to me, Bobby, when I heard him say it Saturday after win against Duke, because I thought that lack of offense, he's talking about what difference does it make how we score? Even if we get offensive putbacks and rebounds, we score. Well, it kind of mattered when they're trying to get into their offense and they're trying to get shots off on either of the last 2 possessions in the national title game against Florida. They didn't even get a shot off, much less see the basket go in through the net.
Yeah, that was a tough spot to be in, being up by so many points and just really the reversal that happened for them is the game before that, them making that big comeback to get into that ball game. But it's tough to see that type of ending for Houston as they had such a great season.
Yeah, Sampson and the Cougars still looking for that first national title in basketball. Phi Slamma Jamma with Hakeem and Clyde Drexler back in the 80s. And in the last couple of years, they've also been on a good run as well. Second Final Four in the last 4 years for them this year.
Yeah, they've been, since Kelvin Sampson has come to the program, they've been doing very well. And how about Hakeem Olajuwon there? Here in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome, supporting his Cougars.
I know Dream and, Robinson make us go off on tangents there, but Cooper Flagg going to be the number 1 draft pick in 2025. The Spurs with 2 lottery picks or 2 first-round picks. We'll see what happens with the Hawks' first-round selection. Very much hoping that they can be in the mix to again win the lottery like they did 2 years ago with Wemby. Now, their odds not nearly as good as it was then, but still a chance maybe for Cooper Flagg. Anyway you slice it. Cooper, I asked him your thoughts on San Antonio during his time here. Cooper, I know you haven't had a chance to see a whole lot of this city, but want to get your impressions of what you have seen, including the workout in the Spurs' new facility, or relatively new facility.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. I'm overjoyed. The weather and everything just being here. It's a beautiful city. The Spurs facility, obviously, it's very new, very modern. It's a beautiful facility, amazing top of the notch facilities and what they have over there. So it was a great place.
Oh, it'd be nice to see him in silver and black, huh?
Oh boy, could we be so lucky?
With Wemby, with Fox, with Castle. Can you imagine?
Can't imagine.
Yeah, it's hard to, and I think that's why, especially with the odds, they're stacked against the Spurs. They're going to finish with around the 8th worst record.
Orlando Magic with Shaquille O'Neal and then Hardaway.
But they got the number 1 pick 2 years in a row.
Yeah, so it's very possible.
Kind of interesting the way that worked out. Weber became the trade that eventually brought Shaq and Penny together. But yes, back-to-back number 1 picks is the way it ended up going. Hey, we are just getting started right here on the Sports Update. Still to come, an insider who can give us some insight on what's going on with Project Marvel. Very special guest. And also a local team, 2 of them headed to the state final. Playing for it all. We're back right after this, right here on the Sports Update Weekly.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 shine. Walking on beams of light, 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 light.
Well, Bobby, I know at RC Audio Sports, you guys get a chance to cover a lot of different high schools throughout the area. And how about what Southwest is doing and their boys soccer team reaching the state final?
Impressive. Everything that Southwest has done over the past couple of years, Hector, whether it be in football, basketball, the whole program, they are doing some fine things over at Southwest.
Yeah, Davenport has also punched his ticket to the state final. The girls have. They're going to play in the 4A Division I final on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Aside from Davenport, as we've talked about, the Dragons making their first appearance ever to the state final. They won the state semifinal to get there, so the Dragons now, all kinds of fun stuff going on there, celebrating the accomplishment. They had a little bit of a send-off, the whole 9, going up to Georgetown and Birkelbach Stadium, and that's where Southwest will face a very good Prosper Walnut Grove program, who is 24-0-2. Southwest themselves a good season at 25-1, and best of luck to the Dragons. They look for that first ever state championship in their first ever appearance in the state title game. And so best of luck to both Southwest and Davenport up in Georgetown as they vie for state championships. This show made possible by our friends over at Martinez and Associates. Ever need services, make sure you give them a call. Fantastic law firm, Martinez and Associates. For us, it's personal, and it very much is for them. They can be reached at 210-337-1111. Easy number to remember, 210-337, and then 4-1-1111. Website also easy to remember, martinez-law.com. All right, before we go to break, Rangers, Astros, here's what's on the docket for Houston. Weekend series with the Angels, and then they're back home, or they go to St. Louis, where they're facing the Cardinals. For the Rangers, they are on the road at Seattle, and then they are back home against those same Angels, but they visit Arlington. And that's all coming up in the next week for both the Rangers and the Astros. We are nowhere near done right here on the Sports Update. Lots going on downtown, including sports happenings and sports talk. An insider, special guest on the way next. We're back right after this.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
Welcome back to Sports Update Weekly. Look who's in the house. Dr. Sukh Kaur joining us. Appreciate the time. Thank you so much for stopping by, Dr. Kaur.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
So I know a lot's going on for everybody around the city. Catch us up. What's going to be going on with you in District 1?
Well, it is election season. So early vote starts just in a couple weeks, April 22nd. And believe it or not, Election Day is May 3rd, which is the Battle of Flowers. The day after Battle of Flowers, it's the Night Parade Day, King William Fair Day. So just trying to get the voters to know that they got to go vote early so that they can enjoy all their fiesta fun.
Yeah, for anyone thinking election season, it's over. No, not locally. Locally, it's just getting ramped up, as Dr. Kaur said, in early May. So we talked about a lot going on throughout the city. We just had the Final Four come through here. Mayor Ron Nirenberg's already said, hey, look, we've got to put more investment, renovation into the Alamo Dome if we want it to come back for another time, a sixth time it would end up. Is that independent, Dr. Kaur, from Project Marvel, or is that all kind of encompassing?
Yeah, there's a lot of exciting conversation happening right now around Project Marvel. As the District 1 Councilwoman, I get to represent a broad variety of constituents and areas in the city. So that includes our historic neighborhoods, our suburbs in the north side, that used to be the suburbs, and also downtown. And that includes Project Marvel discussions. So Project Marvel is a comprehensive discussion on the convention center, on the Alamo Dome, on Civic Park, and a potential land bridge that would connect downtown to the east side. So there's a lot that's going into that conversation, and it's primarily being funded by the Project Finance Zone. But to Mayor Ron's point, if you got to check out Final Four festivities this weekend, it was great. And we really need to make sure we're focusing on continuing to keep our facilities updated.
Yeah, thank you for that. Bobby, I was just going to say thank you for that, Dr. Kaur. I was just wondering if, in the event that maybe Project Marvel doesn't come to fruition, I was just wondering if maybe the dome renovations still happen in and of themselves, but you kind of took us through that and what's going to happen depending on the vote with Project Marvel.
And I just wanted to get to the importance of putting something together like this, because when all these other stadiums are being built around the country, you got Los Angeles, and even with the selection that happened for World Cup, they're not going to, I don't feel like we have any consideration if we're going to stay stuck.
Yeah, so Project Marvel is a way for us to be more competitive in all of our bids. Convention Center actually is going to be the first up for updates because the Austin Convention Center is getting done right now, and we know we're going to lose a lot of bids to them if they have an updated center with a lot more exhibit space than we have. So that's first up on the list. Also, like I mentioned, the Alamo Dome is on the list as well. They need to update on HVAC, update on some vendors in the building. So really got to give it some TLC to keep it competitive. And then at the very end, we know we need a lot of amazing public space. So public amenities allows for everyone in our community to use the space. So we are going to make sure that in any conversation that happens with the Spurs coming downtown too, that there's a community benefits agreement, so really community gets to enjoy it.
Can you speak to that a little bit more, Dr. Kaur, the community enjoyment? Because I think anytime, and this is not specific to San Antonio, and it's not specific to Project Marvel, anytime you have something like this and you put it before a vote, there's always different sides, right? There's always who's going to pay for it, who should pay, et cetera, things along those lines. But at the end, it's one of those things that I think everybody can agree it benefits everybody, and specifically the city. It's just a matter of how we get there. But I think you would agree that there's no, and I shouldn't actually put words in your mouth, but I think a lot of folks can agree that any way you slice it, at the end of the day, there's a benefit to Project Marvel and its completion.
I think we have to make sure that we can construct it in a way that there is a visible, tangible benefit for community. Oftentimes, folks have development projects where they only see developers getting to enjoy and they don't themselves get to go out and experience it. And that's why we have to make sure that the community is benefiting. So I'll give you an example. For Final Four this weekend, they had a huge Jumbotron watch party for the women's games and for the men's games. And I went out there for the women's games and it was incredible. There was little girls jumping up and down as they were watching Paige win her first championship. And it was community members from everywhere. Hemisphere is our most utilized park from around the city. And that's what we have to make sure we preserve. So ensuring that we're getting community engagement in that process. I know a lot of community feels like they haven't gotten to place a lot of input in right now, but the process is just starting. If there is a vote from the county, it's going to go on the November election, and we will for sure make sure there is real community engagement. So what would you want to see? Would you want to see a Jumbotron? Would you want to see more kids' activities at the park when there are games there? Would you want to see a shaded basketball court to be able to play? What is it that the community wants to see from the Spurs, but also from the city and the county, and how we're all going to partner on this together? There's a lot of pieces to Project Marvel. Project Marvel will still happen without the Spurs Stadium. Project Marvel will still happen without any kind of music entertainment venue. So we have to make sure that we are really getting community part right.
Yeah. And how about UConn beating South Carolina in that national title game on the women's side? So much attention to the men because it was here in town, but fantastic matchup on that women's side as well. The two dynasties, if you will. South Carolina recent run, and then UConn is UConn.
And folks thought that South Carolina had the bigger squad and that they were going to, dominate that game, but there was a freshman on UConn that truly showed up, and you rarely get to see that in the NCAA championship game.
And what makes sports so beautiful is you never know, right? You never know what's going to be the underlying factor in a game, no matter which way it goes.
And Sukh, quite the athlete as well. She basketball, flag football, golf.
You did a little boxing.
I did.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, so I'm also an educator, and I always say that when you're a student athlete, but student always comes first. But athletics for me, my entire career has been so important. It's taught me discipline. It's taught me teamwork. It's taught me failure, getting back up after, you have injuries. All of that takes such mental strength. That's why you see like most women CEOs have some kind of athletic background. It's so important for kids, and I want to ensure that everything I do has that tie-in. And I understand that folks that particularly don't engage in sports as much haven't been able to see that, but we all know that our city is a Spurs town. Had to rock my Spurs earrings today, and these are all handmade by local jewelry designers. Wow. And there is such a demand for Spurs earrings, which just shows you how much of a town that we have for the love for the Spurs.
Dr. Kaur, an athlete, a student athlete, an advocate for the city, and a District 1 City Council, the District 1 City Council representative.
So it's election season, and it's really important that we get out and vote. Right now, there's going to be so many people on the ballot for mayor, so make sure you do your research and figure out exactly who aligns with your values most. And in District 1, there are 10 folks on the ballot, 9 running against me. We have had a lot of great success in this first term. We've learned a lot, and we've been here for our community, and we want to work even harder in our second term. We have the relationships and the team to get the job done, so I hope folks will go out and vote for a re-election for us, and then also just stay up to date with everything happening with Project Marvel. There's a lot of confusion about it, and especially around financing, like, are my property tax dollars going to be put into this project? And they're not. That was the statement that got twisted the other day, is that like an individual homeowner in Beacon Hill is not going to be paying for Project Marvel. So stay up to date with the conversations that are happening, and make sure you listen to all sides of the story and keep informed so that you can make a decision for what you think is best to help us build a thriving downtown, because thriving cities have thriving downtowns. I
know you do a great job social media-wise, keeping everybody informed. So if you really want to know what's happening in the district, just make sure you follow Dr. Kaur's social media pages because you're constantly putting up some updates.
I appreciate that. It makes me feel a little bit more Gen Z-like, but it's Dr. Sukh D1 for Instagram and Facebook. Need to get on that TikTok wave, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, neither am I. I haven't. I hear you. I haven't quite gone that far yet. I'm barely on. I barely know how to do Instagram. So. But we'll figure it out. Again, Dr. Kaur, appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everything you do. And
Thank you.
Come back and see us at some point.
Absolutely.
All right.
After
Thank you.
the
And best
election.
of luck with the election in May. Thank you.
you.
We're right back on the Sports Update.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
The On Par Golf Academy at Mission Del Lago was designed and developed to offer not only the highest quality golf instruction in San Antonio, but so much more. With its experienced staff and its TrackMan indoor and outdoor training facility, On Par Golf has the capability to meet all your golf improvement needs. From its junior golf programming to its entertainment and hosting services, OPG has got you covered. So if you're ready to take your golf game to the next level, come see us at On Par Golf.
Well, we talked about other things going on, Bobby, and it's Texas, so it's always football season.
Always.
Right? No matter what's going on, it is always football season in Texas, including indoor football. The San Antonio Gunslingers played 2 games. They had a bye this past week, but they're going to get back on the field this coming weekend. They're on the road still, won't come back into San Antonio till late April, end of the month, but they play through the summer months into July. And so the Gunslingers, a lot of fun over at the Freeman Coliseum. Win coming off their first W of the season against Bay Area and looking for a second straight. Of course, this show made possible by Martinez and Associates. In need of a law firm, make sure you give them a call. For us, it's personal is their tagline and their motto, and it fits. Desi Martinez and Company, great work, great human beings. You need any of the services, be sure to let them know. 210-337-1111, 337-1111, martinez-law.com, the website. Again, martinez-law.com. Check in on the missions, what they got coming up here in these next couple of days and up to the next week. Right now, they're in Corpus, a 6-game set with the Hooks. That goes through next week, and then they return home. Northwest Arkansas, the opponent, as they return to Wolf Stadium. That'll be next week. 6-game stands for the missions. All right, that's going to wrap it up for our first edition of the Sports Update Weekly. We'll see you next week. A lot going on, a lot to cover, Bobby.
Oh, tons of stuff to cover, and can't wait to do it again. Great show today, Hector.
We will see you next week right here on the Sports Update Weekly.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 shine. Walking on beams of